University of Ottawa, was on our air more than some of our hosts. And we welcome him back. Raywat, thanks so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
I hope you had a break after.
I missed you.
Yeah. Where are we? Like, paint us a picture. Where are we? My
Ah,
sense is people have moved beyond it in their day-to-day lives. Some still have an eye on it.
yeah.
Just paint a picture of where it's at, COVID as a pandemic.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So there's a lot of COVID around, there's no question. However, there's also a lot of immunity around, mostly driven by vaccination, a little bit by previous infection. So as a result, it's not the existential threat that it was in 2020 or even 2021. As a result, the coming wave, and a wave is coming, is going to make a lot of people sick, and it's going to create some more traffic in the hospitals, but it won't shut society down. So it's fair to say most people don't think about it much anymore, and they probably shouldn't, but public health should think about it. So I don't want to paint an overly rosy picture because it's not waves coming in and out so much. There's a constant knee-level amount of flood water when it comes to COVID. So the lows that occur now are higher than the peaks were a couple of years ago. It's just constantly here. So it's going to be a threat to us in the next few years unless an amazing new vaccine comes out, as it might. And we're looking at the long tail of COVID, which manifests as long COVID and as cardiac deaths resulting from vasculitis. So it's a complicated answer.
Yeah. If you've got kids, let's say let's pick an age, like high school kids, grade 9, grade 10, going back into schools. I've quite honestly, I've lost track. What is like how many shots should they have? Like how up to date should their immunizations be against COVID?
I'm of the opinion that one should be vaxxed to the max. So whatever they're allowed to get, they should get. So I think right now it's 2 doses is required or recommended for kids under 18 or so. And for under 5, no boosters are permitted yet, which is unfortunate. So if your kid is eligible for the new monovalent vaccine, I would encourage everyone to consider getting it. But these the 2 original doses, and for some people 3, 4, 5, still carry a fair amount of immunity when it comes to the worst possible outcome. So protection against death. The probability has been decreased because of the lingering effects of T-cell immunity. But the probability of protecting against infection in and of itself and of long COVID, that requires additional boosts and more antibodies.
Yeah. And what, looking back for you, what stands out as the worst moment for you over COVID-19?
Oh boy, that's a really complicated question. There are a few bad ones.
It's hard to pinpoint one, and it's okay if you've got several.
I've got many early on, back in March, April, May of 2020, when the terror was implicit, when we didn't know how long this would last, when the zombie apocalypse was amongst us, when you'd walk the dog and not see a single soul. I thought, how long will this last? That was terrifying. For me as an epidemiologist, when you started seeing the excess deaths mount and the data came in at the end of 2020 and early 2021, you realized just how impactful this was. That was scary. But the lingering scary part is the extent to which disinformation and anti-science has become inculcated into society. It's now harder than ever to convince people of a truth. And that is deeply worrying.
I'm almost exactly with you. The eerie feeling, the fear and uncertainty, and the long-term care deaths, and then just it was wrapped up in the convoy, but the serious numbers of people who believe that right now on the radio we're both misleading them, and it's very difficult to convince people that there isn't someone pulling strings. That you're talking to me based on numbers and based on epidemiology, and I feel like we're in a time where we just can't convince people of that.
Yeah.
And it's very, very troubling.
It is troubling. Before the pandemic even started, someone had written years ago, pandemics have a way of exacerbating the cracks in society that already exist. And I thought that was going to manifest as socioeconomic divides. It turns out it manifested as political divides. And it's going to take a generation, if not more, to repair that damage.
Appreciate your time as always. Thank
My,
you.
my pleasure. Thank you.
That's Raywat Deonandan, epidemiologist and science communicator at the University of Ottawa. I'm Graham